and they will, and they tell me in so many ways that they don't realize that they're telling me, because they tell me about how comfortable they are here, how a lot of times when they're not here, they're texting me, or like 1, 2 in the morning, like, you know what I mean, like it's they feel comfortable here. This is their house. When I was their age, I was not feeling like that. I was always trying to go out and not come home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And plus still trying to do whatever I can to maintain school. And yeah, that wasn't easy. And I'm looking at how they seem to be getting along in school without those distractions. Now, don't get me wrong, they got the little hiccups there and stuff like that, because we had to make the transition and all that, and they still have, you know, whatever. But most of it's that day. So it's like I'm looking at like okay, let's put it this way. Today, yeah. I just got in, because I told you he got a job, doing like coding. They're teaching him coding and stuff. I just got an email today that said he finished the first part of it already, and he's a certified instructor in BFX robotics or something.
You posted that today, didn't you post that?
Yeah, and I'm sitting here saying, dude, you started on the 5th. Today's what, the 6th? And you finished that part already? And this is what I mean. What would have, and that's what I think, what would have happened if it was calm at my house? And I was able to, you know what I mean? And that's what I do. I lived through them. I guess that's what parents supposed to do, but you know what I mean? I live through them because I get to see what happens when you don't have those complications in your way. You know, and it's
in a stable environment, man. Like that's what kids need. I didn't necessarily have it, but the reason why I put all this effort into buying this house was because I don't want to move. He loves being here. I know how many times I moved growing up. I moved every couple of years for a while. And when I'm going out, see, I moved around.
He's been there pretty much most of his life, yeah?
Yeah, so that's important to me because I know how much I moved around.
Yes.
And I had to make how many times I had to make new friends. Absolutely. How many times, like, it is, and honestly, I felt like it was just like, I didn't feel like, it was hard moving around because I always made friends, but when you go back and think about it, hey, there's two of you. It did have some effect because immediately the first thing I want to do is like, no, we can't leave here. We got to make this happen because I want that stability for him, and I want him to be with his friends and hopefully, you know, grow together with his friends. So stability is so important for these young.
Very important.
Yes, and that the thing about it is, and that's the way you build your network. So when you get older, you have that, you know, this person does this part, this person does this part, this person does this part, and y'all are all friends, and you all get together with your parts and form now. Yeah, that's the way. It is.
I'll tell you. Furthermore, it's important because you got to understand when a child doesn't feel that they have stability, the psychological effect that it has on them long term. And I'm speaking from the first person stance, of course, because
you're speaking from the first and second one because you're talking for me right now.
Because when you don't feel that you have that type of stability, you are literally waiting to see when the bottom drops out. Yes. And then it's just a matter of, okay, well, where am I going to end up now? You know what I'm saying? Because it's that impending doom that here we go. Now I got to make this move, and now I have to readjust, and now I have to even wonder if where I'm going, am I going to be accepted there? Am I going to be wanted there? You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, I think as I did when I was a child, and this is how I'm able to relate to children, because when I see children going through certain things or whatever, and it's like, yeah, this is very familiar for me, and you know, and you want to make sure that you can handle that a certain way, and that's one thing that I wanted to make sure that my children did not have to feel. But of course, when you have, you know, you're not the only element that's affecting your children and their life. So, you know, you have the mother and the family and all this other shit or whatever. There's so many things affecting it, and you just wish that you could just pick them up out of that and put them in your own separate world, just to keep them away from all of the bullshit and make them know, like, you are accepted here, you're wanted here, you are loved here, and you never have to fucking leave, yo. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so hard when you have to fucking, it took me, my teen years were the hardest, because I didn't feel that I was wanted anywhere that I was.
Thank you.
That shit was fucking hard, bro.
Thank you.
You know?
Because I'm not going to say that I did not have fun partying and stuff.
Yeah.
But there were times that I partied so I didn't have to go home.
Yeah.
I went to people's houses and stayed the night so I didn't have to go home. I've actually left clubs with girls, went to their house, and just passed out on the couch. Didn't do nothing with, just because I didn't want to go home. So
I did that shit because I did not have a home to go to.
Listen. That's another part of it. That's
real fucking talk, man. Real talk, bro. I did that shit.
Yeah.
I had nowhere to go, so that was the advantage that I had, was that I had at the time, dealing with multiple females. It was like, well, it's a matter of whose door am I gonna knock on tonight, just so I know I got somewhere to slide and rest my head for the night. You know what I mean? And then I'll figure it out tomorrow. But tonight, I got to figure it out for right now.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? On the outside, when kids listen to that and they're like, "Oh, you were able to do whatever." No, it's not like that. I don't care what you say. It's not like that. I had the freedom to go and come as I please. Mm-hmm. But there's a certain amount of that freedom that you're like, wait, hold on. Is this freedom, or do you even give a fuck about me? Yeah. That's when it crosses into that point. Because I think I've told you this story before. When I like just got up, went to Fire Island with the dance company. I came back a week later. I walked into the door. My mother looked at me and was like, "Oh, you're home."
Yeah.
I said, "Did you realize that I've been gone for a week?" She was like, "Oh yeah, your dad asked about you."
Nice.
Really?
Nice. Nice.
You're my mom. And
the one that should be worried. The very individual that you want. Bro, I felt the same way. I felt like my mother did not give a fuck where I was. Nigga, when she told me, I never forget when she told me that she didn't give a fuck whether I went to school or not, just as long as I wasn't in the house. And you can ask Charlie. Ask Charlie. When we used to skip school, we used to run into my mother. We used to walk right past her, walk down the street. We wouldn't even speak to her. She would see me. We'd look at each other, and we just keep fucking walking, bro. My mother did not give a fuck whether I was in school or not, bro. I wasn't home. That's all she cared about.
My mother told me, "You got one time for me to come up to the school this year." After that, I was like, "Oh, okay. All right." So I made it so you didn't have to. I handled all the problems or whatever. Because I understood what that meant. Like, if you had to come up there, you were gonna hit me like you usually do. So it's like, and it's kind of like, yeah, okay, no, my mother, no. I think she came. I think the last time my mother came to school for me was the 8th grade play, Land of 1,000 Dances. And I was the lead singer in that. And the one time that she came, when I was coming up out of the basement to go on stage, she met me at the second flight of stairs going up, and she was like, "You know you can't sing, right?" And I was just like, "Are you serious?" I'm not saying that I'm a great singer or whatever. I understand, but we were having fun. It was great. We had a good play. But you made sure right before I walked out on that stage to tell me that. And then I sat down on that second flight of stairs, and I almost did not go out there until Miss Germaine, the music teacher, came, sat next to me, and talked me into going out there. And we had a great play and had mad fun. But that's what, and I was just like, holy shit, bro. Like, the only time you came to school was to watch this play, and you got out of your seat to come backstage and meet me halfway up the steps to let me know that I can't sing 2 seconds before I go on it.
That's super fucked up.
I was just like, okay.
I can't even imagine my mother telling me that. And I can't imagine how you two gentlemen come out of that to be the men you are, which is amazing.
I feel like he was bragging because of the fact that his mother actually showed up to the school.
And you do end up feeling like that when it's even, yes. Hello. I understand that feeling too.
I can't imagine.
Yo, and you know what's funny? Willis's family was at the play. They knew I couldn't sing. And we all laughed, but they made sure that we had the jokes after that thing was done. We went downstairs in the cafeteria. We had a ball. Everybody had fun. And after we left, they were like, "You can't say." I was like, "I know, but we had a ball." And everybody had a ball. But you, right before you, like, literally, I had less than one flight of stairs to walk up before she said that. And I was just like, really?
Like I said, if I have to I don't even know what to say to that, man.
So it's like, it is what it is. It is what it is. But that was the mommy that we had.
Oh my god, man!
It was what it is, you know. And it's and the thing about it, what you do is the way you get past all that stuff is when you have your kids, you make sure that you outdo that. And the thing about it is that's why I say when they come home, when they make the decisions that they make, where they show me some of the things they do and how they've handled it after we've had, years of discussion and years of growing up and stuff, and I see them start putting the stuff in place, that cures all the problems that I had in the past. It really does. And I don't know if it works like that for everybody, but I'm telling you right now, you have, and you're going to get this. You're going to get it every time you realize that your kid makes a step forward. And especially if you have been talking to them and then you see them put it in action. So you understand.
Every now and then. I'm like, thank you for doing that.
Yes.
Like, you got it. Yes. Thank you. He's young, so it's not like, it's just like these little things that come like, you finally picked that up. Thank you for picking that up. Like,
they are is that not the best feeling when you see it in action? Like, not just they can repeat it back to you, but you see they put it in action, so they got it.
And and just to give the acknowledgement to them, like, so you keep doing that, keep listening, and keep under, and right now he's young, so it's little things, but it is something to see. I was like, you finally picked that up, you finally got that. Okay, good.
And the thing about it is, the other thing that I will tell you is that when they do that and they see that you're that happy and you give that back to them, do you see their attitude? Do you see the change in them? Do you see that they are more willing to try harder, to all of that stuff, to excel more? Like that's what I see, because when they do stuff, like, let's put it this way, I get to see them read their friends, and then realize and be able to avoid certain situations that I may not have. And when they tell me about it and they're home safe and I can see that they did this, I'm sitting there saying, you made a great choice. You made a great choice. And I let them know that you made because I may not have made that choice. I've been in situations where I probably should have made that choice. And now I'm in the middle of a house party where people are throwing the guns out and all that. You know what I mean? I see them actively making certain choices, and I see them actively, like, they'll come home, they'll talk to me about their friends or people they know, and I see them analyzing them and understanding them and being able to say, well, you know, I've seen this before. You know, this is not new. These are just different people, but they recognize it, and I love that. I love that, because at 16 and 14, I couldn't do that like that. I was too busy fighting at home, fighting to recognize everything, not fighting, but you know what I mean? Recognizing everything at home. So outside, I didn't have time for that. I did, you know, we did the party and but recognizing and being, not the way they do it. Not the way they do it. So it's great. I love it. I love it. I really love it.
Hats off to us. Hats off to us. Yes.
Yo, listen, that's the thing that I can say is that I do believe that I'm not saying that I am like this amazing power, but I do feel like I'm making more strides than my parents did.
By leaps and bounds.
Because I'm not sure if I'm making more strides, but my path that I've gone, that is taking some of what they told me and made my own parenting path. It's different from theirs.
Yeah.
Because their path is old school. So I didn't have quite the experience you gentlemen have, but I had, you know, some things, you know, that weren't great in my life happen. Homelessness, drug addiction by parents, stuff like that. I've had all that. But so I took that and made my own parenting path, and now it's totally different from them. They did great.
And the thing about that is
they did great because you are the fucking man, yo.